Welcome back. You're watching Business 360. We're seeing a major political row in the United States over H-1B visas. This has sharply divided the Trump camp, and staunch Republicans are hitting out at Tesla CEO Elon Musk and billionaire Vivek Ramaswamy for supporting the H-1B visa program, which is used by skilled professionals to work in the United States. While Musk and Ramaswamy have backed H-1B visa program, saying it helps America hire the best of American talent, many Trump and Republican supporters believe it undermines America first and American workers. In fact, the appointment of Sriram Krishnan as the White House policy advisor on AI has also not gone down well with the Make America Great Again camp, with many calling him an India First supporter. For now, Donald Trump, the president-elect, has backed Musk and said that he likes H-1B. So what could possibly happen in Trump's second term, considering denials of H-1B petitions went up from 13% in 2015 to 24% in 2018. They fell to 4% by the end of the first year of the Biden administration. Joining us right now are Shivendra Singh, Vice President, Global Trade Development Department at Nasscom, Meera Shankar, former Indian ambassador to the US. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Ambassador Shankar, let me begin by asking you, we had seen a sharp increase in denials of H-1B petitions during the 4 years of the Trump regime, Trump 1 regime. How do you think things are placed right now, considering the strong divisions in the Trump camp and strong rhetoric on immigration? Do you expect the Trump camp and the Trump administration to go down harder in curbing the H-1B program or making it more expensive to get foreign workers?
Because you've seen Musk's subsequent statements also. After he backed the H-1B visa program, he now says the program is broken and needs major reform. And amongst the major reforms he has suggested is increasing the wages which have to be paid to H-1B workers, so having a ceiling, a higher wage ceiling, imposing a yearly fee for issue of H-1B visas, in all making it more expensive for the US to hire foreign experts under the H-1B visa program. So we have to see where the final consensus emerges. Clearly, my sense is that the H-1B visa program will not be done away with because it is economically crucial to many US companies, and a large number of the H-1B professionals who go from India are taken up by US multinationals like Elon Musk's Tesla or SpaceX or Microsoft or Google or IBM. So it is not Indian companies. Indian companies do have recourse to the H-1B visa program, but amongst the largest users of the H-1B visa program are American companies. And most of them would be rooting for continuation of the program. So if push comes to shove, and you have, a political base which is riled up about immigration, and on the other hand, you have economic necessity because there's a shortage of talent in the US, particularly in engineering and the sciences, then I think President Trump has made it clear right now that he will plump for economic pragmatism. But continuation of the program does not mean that new conditionalities may not be attached to the program. And these may have the effect of making it more difficult for our companies to hire people on H-1B visas. See, US companies have deep pockets. They can pay higher wages. As it is, most Indian nationals who are there on H-1B visa programs have already a fairly high wage level as compared to the average US worker. So I think we have to wait and see where the consensus on this arises. But I think we should also be active in getting across that this program actually helps the competitiveness of American companies and therefore would be crucial to make America great again.
That's a very important point. Shivendra, if we can come across to you, we saw how the Nasscom president recently said that any curbs on the H-1B program may actually lead to a lesser flow of talent from India to the United States. But at a larger level, what has been your dialogue with the Indian government and also to the US government on the matter?
Well, thank you. And I absolutely echo what Ambassador said on this one. It is beneficial to the US economy, and the H-1B workers play a very critical role in making US the #1 economy. Now, let us look at a bit of the rationale behind H-1B, while there is a lot of discussions and perspectives around it floating right now. I think the rationale is that it fulfills a very critical, bridges a very critical skills gap that exists in the US ecosystem. And with AI and new emerging technologies, this is going to increase. And around the world, we are faced with this challenge, including the US. And there are a lot of misperceptions, as we know, and I just wanted to clarify on a few of them. First of all, we hear that it displaces American workers, it leads to unemployment, the wages that are being paid are lower, and it suppresses US worker wages. Now, all of these are absolutely untrue. When we look at displacing American workers, it's a minuscule. In fact, 85,000 can be, put into one stadium for a workforce. So it does not really have an impact on that in terms of total numbers. Secondly, if you look at numbers of unemployment right now in computer occupation, it's just about 2.5%, which is close to zero unemployment in this area. And even USCIS numbers on wages, when you look at it, the median wage is about 122K, and the average wage is about 132K US dollars, which is more than what is expected to be in terms of the prevailing wage or comparable US workers in that area. So that is also not true. And when you look at suppression of US workers' wages, there are various pieces of research which are done, which point to a figure of more than US workers with computer occupation having earned more than 10 to 40% compared to other non-STEM workers. Now, if that is the case, how is it suppressing that? So I think the value is.
I'd like to take some final questions. Could you also tell me, how do Indian IT companies stand to lose, or how do they get impacted if there are curbs on the H-1B program? If getting an H-1B gets more expensive, there is a higher fee, there is a maintenance fee as Elon Musk is asking for. How will this directly impact some of the big IT companies in India like Infosys?
So look at the current numbers. Even today, when you're looking at numbers, a company has to pay nearly $39,000 to $50,000 extra in the whole process. And I don't know how many of you are aware that there is a $600 asylum fee linked to the H-1B visas, which is absolutely unrelated. There is no relation to an asylum fee to an H-1B visa. So in any case, there is a pretty high barrier in terms of raising the fees to get H-1Bs. For us as Nasscom and the discussions that we've had with our government as well as with the US side, we consider this to be a trade issue and not an immigration issue. And that is where we have to very clearly define it, because at the end of the day, it's a market access issue where you have problem in fulfilling your business requirements, because it does not affect your net migration numbers to the US. And we are absolutely clear for immigration. The government has an absolute right in doing whatever it wants to do. But as far as this is concerned, H-1B is a non-immigrant visa, which is bridging a critical skills gap. And our companies, as an industry, we've spent more than $1.1 billion in local upskilling in the US, working with more than 2.9 million students to develop skills locally. Now, till that time, the gap is there. H-1B will continue. We are all for local hiring, but gap, the bridging of the gap, the H1B.
Shivendra, we've completely run out of time. We'd like to thank you and Ambassador Meera Shankar for joining us on this important topic. Clearly, as Ambassador Shankar said, we need to be had in close dialogue with the US government on this issue. With that, it's a wrap of this edition of Business 360. More news and updates right here on CNBC TV.